From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025. Terror group Hamas tonight handed over what it said are the remains of a hostage. The IDF said tonight at approximately 9:30 local time in Israel, the coffin of a deceased hostage, escorted by IDF troops, crossed the border into the state of Israel a short while ago and is on its way to the National Institute for Forensic Medicine, where identification procedures will be carried out. Well, turning now to response here in the United States to the return of slain American-Israeli hostage Captain Omer Neutra Sunday night by terror group Hamas, together with the remains of his fellow brothers in arms, Colonel Asaf Hamami and Staff Sergeant Oz Donniel, all killed battling Hamas terrorists on October the 7th. Omer was from Long Island, New York, and his parents, Orna and Ronen, became familiar to many of us here through social media and their countless meetings with Jewish organizations and communities across the country, as well as with U.S. officials, including with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House just weeks ago, to mark 2 years since the October 7th Hamas massacre. Last night in Tel Aviv, the Neutras gave their first statement to the media since the return of their son.
For 758 days, we lived between hope and heartbreak. Today, that long night ends with the knowledge that Omer is finally home. Our hearts are shattered, yet at last we can begin the process of bringing Omer to his final resting place in the land he loved and defended.
Jewish organizations shared their grief over the return of the hostages' remains and spoke of their connection to Omer's family. The American Zionist movement wrote of Omer's family, their courage and resolve have touched countless hearts around the world. And hundreds gathered at Columbus Circle in New York City last night to honor Omer and to call for the return of the 8 hostages who are still being held by terror group Hamas in Gaza. Jewish organizations today also paused to remember former Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. The Anti-Defamation League writing Rabin was assassinated by a Jewish extremist motivated by a climate of dangerous rhetoric and incitement. It's been 30 years, and more than ever, we must honor Rabin's legacy of hope, courageous leadership, and peace. Jewish leaders will convene on Thursday this week with athletes and sports executives to stand together against hate. Sports Against Hate will take place at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, an initiative of the Blue Square Alliance Against Hate, whose president Adam Katz said by uniting leaders across sports and Jewish advocacy, we're strengthening relationships and sharing best practices to confront antisemitism and all forms of hate, with sports serving as a powerful platform to amplify that message. Athletes and changemakers taking part, it noted, including NFL alums Julian Edelman and Emmanuel Acho. Last month, the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame honored its 2025 inductees, among them American-Israeli former pro basketball player and now coach Amar'e Stoudemire, Canadian-Israeli cyclist Leah Goldstein, and Israeli Olympian judoka and judo coach Oren Smadja. Smadja's son, Sergeant First Class in Reserve Omer Smadja, was killed fighting in Gaza last year. The induction ceremony took place virtually this year, but the Hall of Fame said, "We look forward to celebrating together in person in Israel next year, when we will honor award winners alongside our 2026 inductees." And yes, it is Election Day today in the U.S., and we will be watching results, particularly in the New York City mayoral race tonight. With polls open in New York until 9 p.m., we will have more for you on that tomorrow, Wednesday. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, November the 4th. At 7 o'clock, Donniel, Hartman, and Yossi Klein Halevi ask what the possible election of Zohran Mamdani could mean for Jewish identity, Diaspora-Israel relations, and more. At 8, Justin Pine speaks with Jennifer Apple, star of the show Hannah Senesh, presented by the National Yiddish Theatre Folksbiene. At 9, Jewish historians Deborah Moore and Jeffrey Gurock talk about the history of New York City and its Jewish community. At 10, it's Good Week Israel. At 10:30, an encore of the news, and coming up next, the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.